Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue podcast. So this video is a little bit different from in the past few weeks. I've been reading a lot of comics, and I wanted to read stuff outside of Marvel and DC because I do love Marvel and DC, but I also always want to expand my horizons into other stuff. Um, One of the publishers I've been really following along their progress is Vault Comics. Vault Comics was founded in 2016 and they are a publisher. According to their website, they publish original creator-owned science fiction, fantasy, and horror comics and graphic novels from both emerging and established creators. Uh, so they want to make sure that there's a variety of comics out there that are different, that are interesting, but also give voices to people that would not normally be having an opportunity to break into the comic industry. So I've kind of fallen in love with it recently, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to tell you 5 comics from Vault that you should be reading in August. So the first comic I want to talk about, and this is a little bit of a cheat, uh, you should be reading Witchblood. Witchblood. Issue number 5 actually came out the last week of July, and it looks like this is the last issue. But this is written by Matthew Ehrman with art by Lisa Sterle, uh, colors by Gab Contreras, and letters by Jim Campbell. Uh, Witchblood is described as a modern Wild West road trip about a witch named Yona cruising the Southwest as a band of bloodthirsty biker vampires. The Hounds of Love hunt her scattered coven for the source of all magic, Witchblood. From the critically acclaimed creators of the Modern Witch Tarot deck and the Long Lost comes Witchblood, a blend of action lore and Americana. So this is described as being perfect for any fans of Buffy or American Gods. Uh, I've really been enjoying this series. I believe issue 5 will wrap everything up. So, like I said, this is a little bit of a cheat, but I still encourage you to go out and get this. Either find the single issues or pick up the collection when it comes out in a couple of months. Um, Next up, this is a comic that we've been following very closely on the channel. Barbaric. Barbaric issue 3 will be coming out in August. This is written by Michael Moresi with art by Nathan Gooden, Addison Duke on colors, and Jim Campbell on letters. So here's the premise for Barbaric. Owen the Barbarian has been cursed to do good with what remains of his life. His bloodthirsty weapon, axe, has become his moral compass. With a drinking problem, together they wander the realm, foredoomed to help any who seek assistance. But there is one thing Owen hates more than life with rules, and that's witches. So welcome to a skull cracking, blood splattering, mayhem loving comic, brave enough to ask, how can a man sworn to do good do so much violence? Oh man, this comic. You can go back in the channel. I did a review for issue number 1. I just read issue number 2 before making this video, and I'm super on board. I'm so excited. So yeah, issue 3 coming in August. Go check Barbaric. Next up is something a little, well, I thought it was going to be a little bit more into the stuff I normally read because it looks like a superhero comic. So we have The Blue Flame. This is written by Christopher Canwell, Adam Gorham on art, K. Michael Russell on colors, and Hassan Otame Elo, or Haas, on letters. Issue 4 will be coming out in August. If you remember, I also did a review for the number 1 issue of this. Issue number 4 will be coming out in August. And like I mentioned, this is definitely a superhero comic, but it's not your typical superhero story. Let me read you the premise. The Blue Flame is a hero with multiple identities. He's a cosmic hero. He's a DIY vigilante who fights crimes on the streets of Milwaukee. He's a blue-collar HVAC repairman named Sam Brosman. When a horrible tragedy occurs, his identities blur even further, and he finds himself standing trial before a universal court where he must prove that humanity is worth saving. But first, Brosman must save himself. So like I mentioned, I also caught up on this issues 2 and 3 before making this video. And that's one of the reasons that prompted me making this video, because there's so much really cool things by Vault that I kind of read all at once. So I wanted to make a video so you guys can get aboard and read this stuff. Next up, we have a horror book, The Last Book You'll Ever Read. This is written by Cullen Bunn with art by Layla Lace, Giada Marchisio on colors, and Jim Campbell on letters. So I also did a review for #1 issue of this. We got an advance copy, and I was really grateful to Vault and everybody involved that they let us review this in advance. The premise for this book is actually pretty interesting. Civilization is a lie. Hidden deep in our genes is the truth, and it is slowly clawing its way to the surface. Olivia Cade, who is our main protagonist and writer of the book, Sartre, knows the truth, and she has become the prophet for the coming collapse. Her book is an international bestseller, and it is being blamed for acts of senseless violence and bloodshed all over the world. Olivia's own life is in danger from those who have read her work. Determined to conduct the book tour, she hires professional security Connor Wilson to act as her bodyguard. She only has one requirement: he cannot read her work, which completely makes sense. This is really cool. I've mentioned before, Cullen Bunn is one of my favorite writers, both in Marvel and DC and in stuff and in his indie comics. So I can't recommend this enough. This is from the Nightfall line, which has given us really cool things like The Plot or The Autumnal, which are just horror books that Vault is bringing to the world. Very cool horror stuff. So if you're into horror, I recommend this a lot. Now, the last one, it's a little bit of a cheat as well, because I have not read it. Deadbox will debut in August, and it is written by Mark Russell, Benjamin Tiesma on art, Vlad Popov on colors, and Jim Campbell on letters. Vault really keeps Jim Campbell busy, huh? But Deadbox, here's the premise, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the team. Welcome to the town of Lost Turkey, where the main source of entertainment is a cursed DVD machine that seems to know more about the fate of its citizens than they do. So Mark Russell has been doing some really cool stuff over at DC. He did the Snagglepuss book. He did the Flintstones book. He's doing the Second Coming book at Ahoy Comics. And he did some really cool stuff on that Batman digital comic as well. Mark Russell it does amazing work. I think it's always full of commentary. So I'm very excited for this, which is why I'm recommending this without even reading it. Deadbox #1 will be out towards the end of August. So make sure to call your comic book shop to get that over there. So real quick, let's recap the books. We have Witchblood, The Blue Flame, Barbaric, Last Book You'll Ever Read, and Deadbox. So if you're reading any of these Vault titles, let me know down in the comments below. Like I said, I really recommend you check out at least the #1 of each one of these series. A lot of the time they'll have some of these free on their website to read, like the #1 issue. If not this, maybe some past series. But yeah, I'm super excited for the future of Vault. Super excited for the future of these comics. And normally the series are not like super long ongoing. So like, we'll get anything from a mini to a maxi series with 12 issues at most. And I just think that's a perfect size to tell a really good story. So yeah, thanks for watching this, everyone. Remember, share, like, subscribe. Give us a little like. Give us a little ring the little bell so you know when we go live. Thanks for watching, and let me know down in the comments if you picked up any of these Vault comics. So yeah, that's it. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.